Okay, I'm just setting this up. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. I think that looks okay. Now, how is my voice coming in? is the real question. Oh, I think it's coming in good. Alright, so let's stop the music. And quit the music. So I'm testing out my blue Yeti X, which is this bad boy right here. It's heavy, so hold on. Here's the blue. I got this for Christmas. Now they say the mic should be straight out like this. And I also got a Logitech MX mouse, and I also got the Logitech MX keys, the keyboard. My first time having a number keypad as a personal computer, I think, as my own like keyboard. Normally, if I had like my own keypad, it would be like a work keyboard, but this is my first time having a personal keyboard with a number keypad on it, which I love because I love having a number keypad. I also got this, which I love, from my wife. It's called Hydrate, and this helps me monitor my water intake. It's digital, so when I put it down, it syncs. There's an app for it, and it tells me how much water I'm drinking in a day. I also got this little bad boy here. My wife got me in a HomePod Mini, which it's currently sitting on the box that it came in. I've only used it once so far. I'm not used to talking to Siri, so that's going to be something I'm going to have to get used to doing, but I've got so much tech stuff. Okay, so let me mute myself. I just wanted to see what I look like on the stream, make sure I'm looking good. What's most important to me now is I want to record. Oh, I might have to end the stream. Hold on 1 second. I'm so stupid. I wanted to tell the stream to record. How do I tell the stream to automatically record? Oh, there we go. Now, I don't know if that's going to automatically record now because... Oh, I can hit the record button. Okay, sweet. So I just hit the record button. So I should be recording. Unfortunately, where it's going is not where I would want it to go, but that's fine. This is really like a test, but it's also going to hopefully be a legitimate podcast episode. So let's hit this button here. And now I'm going to do a test recording using Audition. And then I'm going to use that to decide if my gain needs to go up at all or down. Let's see. Okay, so I think I turned my gain up a little bit. I'm going to turn it up a little bit more. And I'm watching the bouncing green, as you can see. Let me just make sure that I'm getting it from my Yeti. I am. Okay. Let's put the mic right in front of my mouth here. And let me do a test recording, reading this first paragraph here. The First Reindeer, a Christmas special short story. Many know the story of Santa Claus and his 8 reindeer, but no one ever wonders who his first reindeer was. Before he became Santa Claus, he was Nicholas Claus, the toy maker who lived in a town but had dreams too large to contain or ignore. This is the story of the reindeer sent to make sure his dreams would live on in every boy and girl. Okay, I might need to turn the gain up a bit on that. So hold on, let me see. I think there's a way for me to do it so you hear what I'm hearing. So let me do this and let me hit the playback button. Oh, wait, turn that off. The First Reindeer, a Christmas special short story. Many know the story of Santa Claus and his 8 reindeer, but no one ever wonders who his first reindeer was. Before he became Santa Claus, he was Nicholas Claus, the toy maker who lived in a town but had dreams too large to contain or ignore. This is the story of the reindeer sent to make sure his dreams would live on in every boy and girl. Very, very, very low. Let's try that again. Testing. 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 I don't know why that's not working the way I thought it would. Let's turn the gain up one more time. Let's turn it up one more time. Okay, so let's try this and see what happens here. One more time. Here we go. Recording. The First Reindeer, a Christmas Special. Many know the story of Santa Claus and his 8 reindeer, but no one ever wonders who his first reindeer was. Before he became Santa Claus, he was Nicholas Claus, the toy maker, who lived in a small town, but had dreams too large to contain or ignore. This is the story of the reindeer sent to make sure his dreams would live on in every boy and girl. Okay, I think that's going to be much better. To the beginning, let's play it. Why am I not hearing it? Have I lost my mind? A Christmas Special. The First Reindeer, a Christmas Here we Special. Go. Many know the story of Santa Claus and his 8 reindeer, but no one ever wonders who his first reindeer was. Before he became Santa Claus, he was Nicholas Claus, the toy maker, who lived in a small town, but had dreams too large to contain or ignore. This is the story of the reindeer sent to make sure his dreams would live on in every boy and girl. Much better. Okay, so let's see how I want to do this. So let's do the legit recording now. So now I'm going to take this, delete it, put this cursor back at the beginning. And okay, let's hit that button so we make sure that we're recording what we're about to do. I want to take these and delete these WAV files. I don't need them. They were a test. Okay. Let's have a sip of water. Let's see, what do I want to say in the beginning? Let's type this out for myself. Okay. I'm just putting that there so that I know what I'm about to say to open up this recording session here. Let me go back to here and let me get ready to... I'm trying to make it so that you guys only see this one window here. I'm being a stickler about it, I know. Perfect, okay. Here goes nothing. Oh shoot. Audition just quit. Oh, where did it go? Oh my god. Sorry you guys, hold on 1 second. The whole program just quit on me. Okay, let's try that again. I don't know why it quit on me like that. I know it did. Let's move this cursor back to the beginning. And stop messing around. Okay, here we go. Let's try to hit record again and see what happens. The First Reindeer, a Christmas story written many years ago and read aloud for the first time. Many know the story of Santa Claus and his 8 reindeer, but no one ever wonders who his first reindeer was. Before he became Santa Claus, he was Nicholas Claus, the toy maker, who lived in a small town but had dreams too large to contain or ignore. This is the story of the reindeer sent to make sure his dreams would live on in every boy and girl. She needs you more than I, he explained, as he held down his shimmering red cape that shone silver under the moonlight, while we walked down a dirt road. We stopped at a small cottage nestled among others in a long row, in a town that didn't look prosperous, but I could tell was very promising. You'll be the best medicine for her. As I hear it, she has precious little time. I'm counting on you to make it the best she'll ever have, he said, patting my head, making sure to avoid the baby antlers I had grown already. You may understand me, girl. You understand me, girl? I nodded vigorously, excited for the opportunity to bring joy to someone's heart, especially a child. From now on, those who need to understand you will. He tapped lightly on the door, gave me one last pat, and was gone, but I knew I would see him again. A gentleman, who looked very different from the one who brought me here, came to the door. Not being expected, he looked right over my head at the empty streets before him, then started to go back inside. I huffed loudly, which made him look down right at me. His startled reaction caused a woman inside the cottage to join him. "Honey, who is it?" she asked, as she stood by the door, just as frail. He gestured down to me, and she gasped, exclaiming, "Is that a reindeer?" He put his finger to his lips to get her to keep her voice down, but it was too late. The reason why I was there had heard all. "A reindeer? Really? Let me see, Papa." He opened the door wide, letting me inside their tiny home. The room I entered looked like it was a living room at one time. However, their daughter occupied it now. Of the 3 of them, she looked the weakest. She was barely able to smile as her eyes widened upon seeing me. As she lay on the tattered couch, I knew right away she was very sick. Both her parents continued to look around outside, expecting whoever owned me to be hiding somewhere just up the road. After several minutes, they gave up their search and re-entered the house to sounds of giggles and laughter unlike any they had heard in a long time. They quickly realized I must have been sent to keep their daughter happy for as long as she lived. I knew it too, but I had no idea how little time there would be. "Her name is Noelle, Papa," she exclaimed as her parents held each other tightly, tears in their eyes. "How do you know that, Daisy?" her papa asked. "She told me," Daisy announced. Both noticed right away color returning to her cheeks as she continued to smile at me with a twinkle in her eye. She kept that twinkle for 2 years more before she was gone. No one told me where she went, but while she was here, I made sure she spent every day laughing. Her parents were concerned, once their daughter was gone, with how they would continue to care for me. They'd never say it, but as I grew up, my size dictated the amount of food I needed to eat. I tried to cut back on my intake, but the more I tried, the more I failed. Until one night, there came a knock on the door that muffled the sounds of my stomach. I knew who it was even before the door was opened. The one who brought me here had come back for me. I had another, very important job to do. The little girl's parents didn't question my leaving, knowing in their hearts I was going to share the joy I brought to their daughter with someone else. "You did very good, Noelle, but this next home I send you to does not have any children. He's just a humble toy maker," he explained as he walked along a different dirt road. As we walked along a different dirt road He's just a humble toy maker, he explained, as we walked along a different dirt road to my next and what would become my final destination. He needs someone to guide him along his special path, and your time with the little girl, we think, has prepared you for him. "We?" I asked, for the first time realizing there was more of him in the world. "Who we are isn't as important as what we do. You won't see me again, but I'll always be watching, Noelle. Now go and spread as much joy in the world as you possibly can." When I approached the toy maker's door, I turned back briefly, and just as before, he was gone. I raised my front hoof and knocked. I could hear sounds within of someone scrambling to answer, bumping into things on his way. "Yes, I'm coming," he shouted through the closed door just as he started to open it. "Who's," he said, then stopped short when he saw me, a reindeer, standing on his doorstep. "Hello," I replied, hoping he could understand me the way Daisy could. "My name's Noelle." "Whoa, easy there, boy. I hear you loud and clear. You want to come in?" he replied, stepping aside. He didn't have to give me too much room since I was rather small for my age and for an average reindeer. I like to think I stayed small so I could live inside the small cottage for the 2 years I was there. As I entered his tiny home, I knew 2 things. First, he could not understand me, and second, my work here would not be an easy one. I looked around his humble home at what was primarily his workshop. There were toys of all shapes and sizes everywhere. Nestled between the completed toys were models he had started. They didn't look like much, but I could tell by his finished toys any little boy or girl would be excited to own them once done. "Welcome to my home. It isn't much, but it keeps me fairly warm in the winter," he replied as he watched me closely. "Listen to yourself, Nicholas Claus. You're talking to a reindeer like he can understand you." I picked up a girl doll off the desk closest to where I stood with my mouth and held it out to him. "What are you trying to tell me, boy?" he asked as I shoved the doll into his hands with as much urgency as I could. "Are you a she? Is that what you're trying to tell me?" I nodded my head. It was then I knew, at least, our friendship would be a long-lasting one. That night, as he did every night, I discovered, he'd spend at one of his tables crafting the perfect toy for a child. The next day, however, I noticed he stayed home, never going out to sell all he had made. This concerned me, as I knew of many children in the town that would love and appreciate them. Finally, on the third day, I decided I had to say something because the food he had was less than what I was getting in my previous home, and my hunger increased. He ate less than I. Soon we both would waste away to nothing if something wasn't done. But the strangest thing happened on this night. He began to gather up all the toys he had completed and placed them inside a large brown sack I hadn't noticed when I first arrived, hanging on a hook by the front door. It was large enough to fit practically all the toys he made. "How about we take a late night walk, girl?" he asked, holding the door open for me to follow him outside. Once in the blistering cold, he looked both ways before sprinting at top speed down the road, carefully holding the bag full of toys over one shoulder. I followed closely behind, wondering what he was about to do. After walking for what seemed a long time, he finally stopped at a row of houses, all with their lights off. He crept up to one and lowered the sack, reached in and pulled out a toy. He then proceeded to place one toy inside each pair of tiny shoes left just outside the front door. He repeated this all night, passing from house to house, putting toys and shoes in baskets. He even slipped one through a little girl's bedroom window. When his sack was empty, we'd walk back, getting home just as the sun had begun to rise, both of us exhausted from being up all night. We promptly fell asleep, sleeping the day away. I soon discovered Nicholas's purpose and mine, to bring joy to children everywhere. But first, we needed to sort out the food situation. If he was going to continue working endlessly with little sleep, he'd need food for energy. And if I was to be of help to him, I'd need my energy as well. So one day, while he was too busy designing a new toy, I went to visit my previous owners. I knew they didn't have much by way of food, but perhaps they'd have a solution. Plus, I missed Daisy, and they were my only connection to remember her. Her mother was happy to see me as she ushered me inside. In one corner of the room, they placed everything that had once belonged to their daughter neatly on a table. I recognized all of her favorite things, including a toy I realized was made by Nicholas. I picked it up carefully in my mouth and used it to urge her to follow me. I hoped in her seeing the toy maker and the good he was trying to do, she'd come up with a solution to our food shortage. After a few days had passed, the time had come for us to do another delivery of the toys Nicholas made. This time, however, I noticed there were a bit more than usual. Tonight, girl, I think you're ready to help me bring joy to all the little boys and girls in our town and the next. When we went outside, there in front of the house was a sleigh that wasn't in the best shape, but looked like it could at least hold Nicholas and his toys while I pulled. He hitched me to the front and gave me the following instructions. Pull me to the next town, and while I leave the toys, follow close behind. We are unexpected, and in case we should be spotted, I'll need a quick escape. That night, we made it into and out of the town without anyone noticing us. Even happier news was upon returning home, there were bundles on his doorstep. He carried them inside and found they contained various food items, all fresh and all anonymous. I had a feeling who they were from, but when Nicholas asked me, I pretended not to know. Ever since then, we never went hungry. Coming home to so much food each time we went out, we'd take some with us on the journey, leaving food for families we knew needed it more. Our next trip took us to a town we'd never been to before. I was feeling particularly energetic in my youth and decided to go further than we'd ever gone. As Nicholas walked away from a home where all was quiet, a young woman holding books in one hand and reading in the other almost bumped into me as she crossed the road without once ever glancing up. I took several steps backward, pushing the sleigh back as well. Nicholas shushed me as he feared the sound would be heard by those sleeping. I huffed in the direction of the woman, who never slowed her stride, oblivious to the fact she almost got trampled by a reindeer. I didn't notice the piece of paper she dropped from her open book, but Nicholas did, and promptly went to return it to her. He tapped her on the shoulder, which caused her to jump with fright as she nearly dropped everything she was holding. He caught her by the arms and helped to steady her. They looked into each other's eyes, smiling. The only time I ever saw him smile that way was after he'd finished one of his many toys. At that moment, I knew she would be joining our family of 2. "Who are you? What are you doing out here at this time of night?" "I don't recognize you," she managed to get out, not stopping to take a breath. "I'm Nicholas, and this is my reindeer," he said as he introduced us. It didn't take long after seeing me for her eyes to widen, reminding me of the way Daisy looked at me when she first saw me. "You have a reindeer? Where did you get her?" she asked as she walked up to me and made to pat me on my side, but stopped short. "May I?" she asked, looking me right in the eye. I nodded, and she gasped. She understood me. Yes, she is a rather special reindeer," he replied with a wink. I winked back, and she gasped again, amazed. "What's her name?" she asked him, and I realized perhaps I should try again after many failed attempts with Nicholas to get her to understand me. "I don't know, actually. She just showed up on my doorstep one day. Don't know where she came from, and she won't tell me." "My name's Noelle," I answered. She slowly turned towards me and smiled as she laughed to herself in amazement. She understood me. "Won't or can't," she replied, winking at me. I winked back, knowing from then on she would understand me best. "My name's Jessica. I'm the school teacher here. What were you doing at the Sandersons' house just now? Their boy is a handful at school," she said as she continued to pat my stomach gently. "I was just leaving a toy," he answered, causing her to gasp again. "A toy? Oh no, get it back this instant. I just had to reprimand him this morning for breaking little Sally's toy. How would it look if for his punishment he wakes up to a new toy? Who gives you the right to walk into a town and leave toys anyway?" "No one. I leave toys for all boys and girls. I want to bring them some happiness in an otherwise gloomy world," he replied as he climbed into the sleigh. "Happiness is great, Nicholas, but respect, responsibility, and good manners is what's most important to impart on the hearts and minds of young children," she countered, as she peeked in his sleigh at the toys he had yet to deliver. "Better let me come with you. I know all the children here, who's naughty and who's nice. I won't have you undoing all that I've been working to instill in these children in just one night." "If you insist," Nicholas replied, making room for her to sit beside him. "Your reindeer's name is Noelle, by the way," she said as she climbed into the sleigh next to him. "Noelle? That's a beautiful name. I should have known that. Did she tell you?" "Yes, and one more thing. Did you know she's pregnant?" Jessica asked. I knew she was talking about me, and I tried to look back to get an explanation from her as to how she knew and how it was possible. "No, I didn't. Are you sure?" "I am," she said as she leaned forward in the sleigh to try and relax me with her reassuring words. "But don't worry. My family owned a farm, and I'm familiar with assisting in births. You'll be fine, Noelle, I promise." And with that, the 3 of us continued our journey through the town, only leaving toys for those children most deserving of them. Soon after, they were married, and Jessica became known to everyone in our town as Mrs. Claus. She started to befriend the local school teachers of any town Nicholas planned to visit to get a list of all the nice children. After a few times, she found it was easier for her to organize our late-night trips if she stayed home while Nicholas and I went out. She felt she slowed us down. I think she felt more at home with her nose in a book, especially when it got colder. Although she loved the cold too, She preferred to remain indoors with her cup of cocoa and her ledger. This was the place where she kept track of all the toys Nicholas made, who he gave them to, and who wouldn't receive toys unless she heard they changed from naughty to nice. She took her role as his wife, but most importantly his partner, very seriously. So she made a point to remember all the children in every town, and when one would do something worthy of being taken off the naughty list, she made sure Nicholas brought them a toy. On such an occasion, we were sent with explicit instructions not to forget little Tommy, whose mother proudly reported had been surprisingly good. On our way back from our deliveries, we took a detour to leave him a toy. She'd plot our route and every stop. She showed me the map beforehand, not bothering to show Nicholas, who cared more about the toy giving than how we got there. On this particularly cold and icy night, I found myself slipping and sliding down a hill right off a cliff. I was powerless, or so I thought, to try and put a stop to what was happening, when suddenly there came a miracle. I started to fly. Nicholas had his eyes closed the whole time, refusing to look as he thought we were falling to our deaths. After several seconds passed, he finally peeked over the side of the sleigh and saw we were several hundred feet above the ground. He let out a hearty laugh that was heard throughout, causing some in their homes to wake and look to the sky for the source of the noise. In a flash, I carried us higher as I tried to get us out of sight. We were home the fastest we'd ever done it, almost as if time had slowed down for both of us to do all we needed to do in one night. News of a mysterious man and his reindeer spotted flying at night began to spread through neighboring towns. Mrs. Claus grew worried that people would discover who the man was and through human curiosity want to steal his magic reindeer. The thought worried us both as my stomach grew larger. The second miracle in my life would be soon. We didn't want to stick around till the townsfolk came to our door, so Mrs. Claus made some inquiries into a group of toy makers she'd heard rumors of in a faraway land. They had previously reached out to Nicholas, wishing to offer him assistance when they heard of all the good he brought children around him, but he always turned them down. He believed moving to the North Pole would put him much too far away from what he was born to do, but his wife was insistent. She felt I could not be expected to give birth to reindeer in a town that would soon become unsafe for all of us. Besides, we needed a new place anyway ever since Nicholas began making more and more toys. His small workshop was no longer big enough for the three of us and all his toys. Finally, after a lot of convincing that he would not be giving up his ability to deliver them, he relented, and we began what would end up being good training for me. While pregnant, I flew us all to the North Pole. The second we arrived, we were greeted by the smallest people I had ever seen. They numbered in hundreds, or so I assumed, and surrounded us straight away. The climate was well below zero, but it didn't bother me one bit. I couldn't say the same for Mr. and Mrs. Claus, who were thrilled to be shown inside what would later become the most famous and largest toy factory in the world. These tiny toy makers were called elves. They were always toy makers, sending their toys throughout the world, but never at a rate and speed they wanted, which is why they were so excited when we arrived. Mrs. Claus went right to work, organizing and planning as she always had. I spent most of my time resting. Becoming a mother when I wasn't expecting it, I knew wouldn't be easy, but I had an entire legion of elves all willing to help. One cold, wintry night, not too long after we arrived, while everyone was indoors trying to stay warm, I gave birth to two beautiful reindeer and named them Comet and Cupid. This worried Nicholas as we had been planning to do our first delivery since arriving at the North Pole, and he couldn't help but wonder if I would be able to do it. So the elves nursed me around the clock till I was ready to fly on the 7th day. The night before our flight, our first piece of mail arrived, addressed to Santa Claus. None of the elves knew who Santa was, but recognized the last name, so they handed it over to Nicholas to inspect its contents and determine what to do with it. Upon opening the bundle, he found the most beautiful red jacket with white lining he'd ever seen. He quickly put it on as if he knew instinctively it was meant for him. It fit a bit loose on him, but it kept him warm and was just what he needed for the journey we were about to make. The elves worked tirelessly with Mrs. Claus as their leader, making sure they had everything ready for our first official flight, with the most number of toys we'd ever delivered. As I took off, Nicholas stuck his hands in the pockets of his jackets to warm them, finding a note that was put there. He read it aloud. Dear Santa Claus, an angel wearing a shimmering red cape and holding my little girl Daisy's hand came to me last night with a message that I believe is meant for you. Bringing joy to the little children of the world is the best gift you can give them. Don't ever stop. They need someone to believe in. Love, Daisy's mother. P.S. Tell Noelle thank you for the joy she brought to our little family. In just 12 months after our first flight, my reindeer children grew faster than anyone thought possible, but we never questioned the miracles bestowed upon us. I taught them all that I knew about flying, and on Santa Claus's second flight, he used them instead, this time leaving me behind. I knew I would live forever, same as Santa and Mrs. Claus, but I also knew I needed to step aside and make room for the team that would forever be remembered in the hearts and minds of children everywhere. Mrs. Claus took charge over reading through the many letters we began receiving once our address was known to all the children around the world. I took on the role of mentor and teacher to the 8 reindeer that would become Santa's team. The remaining 6 arrived much later, 2 by 2, to join Comet and Cupid. They were given the most important task of them all, the responsibility of carrying the toys safely to their destination. To honor me, Santa's very first reindeer, he decided to deliver the toys to all the good girls and boys once a year on the date I gave birth, December 24th. The end. Oh, I made a lot of mistakes, but I haven't done this in a very long time. Silent Willow, I see that you are here. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to... and to respond to your question, I intentionally chose red because red is, oh shoot. Sorry, hold on one second. I know why I did that. The story just disappeared. That's alright. I'm going to change screens anyway. Hold on one second. There's a reason why I did that. I just want to switch screens quickly. Okay. I'll switch to this one right now. Or, I'll switch to this one. And put this on the screen. The reason why I intentionally put red is because that was my mom's favorite color, and at the time that I wrote this story, it was for her. So, or it was trifold. It was for her and for the person who illustrated that. But I wasn't trying to in any way, shape, or form tell there is no story about Santa's first reindeer, right? This is a fiction story. I wasn't trying to be factual in any way to any actual telling of Nicholas and the reindeer, etc., etc., etc. But in any event, this was really meant to just be a test stream because I got a new mic, which is what I was using. You may not hear me right now because I have it turned around, but a new mic here with a bunch of things, whatever. I have to learn how to use it because I'm sure I probably could have put it on a better setting to pick up my voice better. So it comes with this little card here, which I could probably use to learn how to use this mic better, and I will definitely do that because there are patterns on the back, and I'm not too familiar with patterns and etc. etc. I think I had it on the right pattern though, which is just to pick up the front. My voice is, yeah, that much I knew. I tested it out and listened back, so I think I have it on the right, what they call pattern, which means that the mic is not picking up anything back here, which is great because I have my laptop is like the fan is going like crazy, but it shouldn't be picking it up at all, or if it is, it shouldn't be picking it up as loudly as it sounds. It should just be picking up my voice going directly into the mic, which I'm so thrilled with. But I got that. I got for Christmas, I got this thing, which I love. It helps me monitor my water intake. So I drink water, and when I put it down on the desk and close the lid, it lights up on the bottom, and there's an app that tells me how many ounces I just drank. So it makes sure that I drink the proper amount of water daily, which I love. I got this, which is my Logitech, a new Logitech mouse, the MX, I think. It's the Logitech MX. And I also got a new keyboard. Actually, I should be able to move my my mic away, and you should still hear me pretty clearly even if I move it over here. But I also got this bad boy, a brand new Logitech keyboard. I have another Logitech. I love Logitech stuff, and I love that the Blue Yeti is also owned by the same company. Yeah, I know, but it actually has been working really well. This is, I think, day 3 of my using it, and I have like absolutely no complaints. It adjusts itself daily to how I'm doing in terms of if I'm meeting the goal that it's setting for me. I just opened the lid so I could put more. I charge it whenever I'm here, so I'm actually going to fill this up, and then I'm going to take a sip, and then I'm going to charge the base because I try to charge it at least every time I'm in my office, since that's where I keep it. It's called Hydrate, and it holds, I think, 21 ounces. So let me just take a quick sip. Like so, and then I just take the bottom off. Like that. So this is where it's able to measure my liquid intake, and I'm going to just plug it in here, give it some time to charge while I'm here on stream. But yeah, I got a couple of tech things, and my wife got me this over here, which is the Apple HomePod Mini. So I have a HomePod Mini here, which I've used once. I haven't used it again. I'm not used to talking to my tech stuff, so I have to get basically used to talking to techie stuff, and then I will. What just happened? Oh, it switched windows. Sorry. Psychedelic there. I have to get a new headset though. Like this one is wireless. I actually want a wired headset, which will plug directly into the Blue Yeti, which I prefer. But I'm getting there. So I want to change this to go to my other Safari window right here. go back. Actually, let me go here. And shrink this window out of the way. Let's come here. I just need to check my email newsletter and make sure it's ready to go, because I also have to edit what I just did. What does that do? The HomePod Mini. It's basically like Alexa or anything like that. I don't know if you're familiar with those kind of things, but basically you tell it to play music, to set a timer, you ask it questions, things like that. I'm not sure if you're too familiar with that stuff. Hold on a second, I gotta extend this window up. I mean, all of your tech listens to you, from your laptop to your phone. If it connects to the internet in any way, shape, or form, it's listening. So there's no way to basically get around that. I know people think only certain tech is listening, but that's not true. All tech is listening. It's just the nature of it. It's just a matter of getting used to it. Whether or not you choose to respond back to it is a whole other thing. But for the most part, like, yeah, I used to not want to, I still have, some issue talking to tech. I don't do it. My wife does it all the time. She talks to Alexa constantly, saying, Alexa, do this, Alexa, do that. I don't, but I've been wanting a HomePod Mini for a while, and so she surprised me with one, and so I'm going to use it. It's in my office. It'll stay in my office. But I like the idea. I have an Apple Watch, and I have my cell phone. I have, and I have all my tech. And we already see how tech listens, because, we'll be having a conversation about, buying something. We won't even Google it or anything on the computer. We'll just be talking about, buying a new table, and then we'll go on Facebook, and all the ads on Facebook will be on the best table to buy. And it'll be like, we were only talking about it. We didn't even do like a search. We didn't go to any table furniture manufacturers, but tech is listening. So, the second you go on something where it's got a place to advertise, it's going to advertise what you were talking about. That's just the way it is. And they might try and say that that's not true, but it's like, yeah, we already know. We already know you're listening. You don't have to pretend like you're not. Let me quit that. Let me quit some things, because let me move Audition over here to this window now. And I'm like far from done with getting tech stuff. Whoa, what happened here? Did I move this by accident? Sorry. Okay. I didn't mean to move that. So let's put this back at the beginning. Okay. If I hit play, will you hear this? Hold on one second. Let me try this. The First Reindeer, a Christmas story written many years ago and read aloud for the first time. Excellent. Yeah, so now I have to go back, basically. I'll probably do this off stream, because it's going to take me a while, and I have to go back downstairs in 30 minutes, actually, to watch the dogs for my wife. But I'm off this whole week from work. I've been off from work since, technically, I feel like I've been off from work since last week, Monday, because everything that was due for myself and everything was on December 18th. So, but technically I've been on vacation from work since Wednesday afternoon. So I don't go back to work till next Monday, January 4th. Luckily, my job is great, and they always, for at least the last, as far as I can recall, maybe 7+ years, they've given from Christmas to New Year's, regardless of how they fall on the calendar. So we usually always end up getting a week off with pay, which is very nice. By the way, Silent Willow, do I still sound fine? Because I moved the mic from being right in front. I hit my elbow, from being right in front of my face, and now it's like here. I see the little green thing moving, so I'm assuming it's picking me up just fine. I have it on a base right now. Eventually, I have like a bunch of tech stuff that I still need to get to complete the setup of my desk. But one of the things is going to be the arm that goes with this, so that I can have it down in front of me, over my head, instead of on the desk, which will hopefully make it sound even better. But I'm going to get that. I want to get the headset. I'm finally going to try to get the Logitech. I'm going to get the Logitech Stream Cam. I want to get that, and then get a boom arm for that as well, an arm for that, so that way I can point the camera down and not use both. I can use my FaceTime camera on my laptop and the Logitech cam, and then I can point it downward so I can show you when I'm doing like bullet journaling and stuff like that, which I can't really show you right now because I'm only using the camera attached to my laptop. So I've got a bunch of stuff on my Amazon wish list that I will hopefully be getting, and then my standing desk, my electric or I think it's called an automaton desk, where I can push the button and I can stand and work, and then sit and work when I feel like it, because sometimes my back is killing me, and I need to be able to stand. So I have let's go to all. There we go. Can I just view this? Yeah. I just want to make sure that this email is good to go. Okay, so my 3 goals. I have my dates all ready for like my streaming and my Facebook Live. Like my first Facebook Live is the first Saturday in February, which is like, I think February 6th is my first Facebook Live, when I again will be doing what I'm doing now, which is recording a podcast episode. Well, I'll be recording 2 podcast episodes. One will go up for everyone, and the other one will be just for patrons. So just for my Patreon, which I'm excited about. I'm putting 4 of my favorite things. Oh yeah, here's my desk. Oh, that looks kind of, because I didn't consider that, because it's got a white background, you can't really see it. Also, it's not going to the actual desk itself. This is where I'm getting my oh wow, hello Erica with a K. It has been a long time. a very long time. I'll be here for at least the next 20 minutes, 23 minutes. I don't like, why didn't I notice that before, that because the desk is white, that it in an email it really is like a terrible picture. Hold on, because now I gotta fix that. Now I've got to fix that. Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, and Happy New Year, because I won't be, I don't know if I'm going to be streaming again this week. We'll see. If I'm going to do my normal like Monday through Thursday streaming in the morning, I probably won't. I just wanted to do this, like I said, so I could test my mic. And I wanted to record this because it's actually going to be, I need to put it up in the next like 2 days, because I am linking to it in this email to say this podcast special Christmas episode is up. So I have to edit it today, and then set up, do the images and all that stuff, and put it up on the place where I post all my podcast episodes, which is escaping me now, but Anchor. I need to go put it up on Anchor, so that way it usually takes less than 24 hours once it goes live on Anchor for it to show up like on Spotify and Apple podcasts and iHeartRadio and all those places. It doesn't take very long, but I need to do it between today and tomorrow, because I think my email is going out on the 30th. I think I auto set it to go out on that day. So hold on, I need to find the image of this desk. I'm basically just going to make it transparent and then put it against a black background, and hopefully that should fix the issue, which I can't believe I didn't notice until just now that it was doing that. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Oh my god, yeah, that's so bad. Yeah, I moved back to the East Coast. I was actually living in the West Coast, and now I am moved back. Am I hitting the escape button? Do I I do have an escape button, but it I'm not used to having an escape button up there. I was so confused. I was hitting the wrong button. I don't know what button I was hitting, but definitely was not the escape button. But yeah, because I'm back on the living on the East Coast, I bought a house this year. Whoa, 100-bit chair. I don't know why my chat alerts are not making a sound. They should be, but they don't, and it annoys me. I need to figure that out one day when I have a free moment. So, okay, so I think this is transparent already, so I just need to open up. Let me see what the size of this is. I need to open up Photoshop and put it against a black, and put it on a black background. 1600 by 900. I could probably do it on here, actually, instead of going to Photoshop like I normally. Yeah, I've only been living here, let's see, the house, I officially closed on the house, I think, in October, like October 13th, I think. So literally like 2 months. You could say 3 months, because I was living in the house for like 2 weeks before we closed. We were able to move in, but what did I say the measurements were? I'm like so bad with remembering things. 1600 by 900. Okay. I'm just going to do this on here. I think I can. 1600 by 900. And then that way you can see what I'm about to do, so that I can fix that background on the desk. What is happening here? Oh, the background is white. Well, that's dumb. Okay. So now let's add, are you able to see this? You are. I would resize the window, but I just don't even want to go into all that. Let me just add. upload a photo. Here it goes. This one here. Okay, it's not transparent. I thought it would be. Let's see if this works. Sort of. It's a little cruddy. Let me see if I can get a better image on the actual website. I cannot believe that I did not anticipate. Oh, that's a video. Sorry. Whoops. Whoops. Oh, these are customer images. I don't really want a customer image. I wanted just the desk just without the fact that it's got this white background here. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it the way I want it. Because I definitely don't like this. This is like... Where's the center? Also, it's supposed to be like much bigger. Let me see what it does if I do it on here. Open this back. See, on here it looks perfect, but let me get really close to the computer screen. It's just that it's so... When in doubt, exit out. Oh, can I get it? Oh, here we go. I should have done it this way to begin with. I don't know what I was thinking. Trying to do it the hard way. Oh yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm just cutting out big chunks of the white space as closely as I can to the image without actually taking the image out. And it's actually working better than what I was originally trying to do here. Okay, let's get close up there. This is kind of like on a slant. So move it over and X. What time is it? Okay. I just need to make sure I'm downstairs by 9:30 because my wife has a meeting at 10, I think. Don't chop the desk, please. Where is the desk? I think it's like right there. Yeah. Is it still snowing? Oh, it stopped snowing. Darn. It was snowing this morning when we woke up. So lovely. So lovely to have morning snow. And to have a white Christmas is nice too. Okay, X that. X that. I won't bore you with what I'm doing, but I will show you the finished result. It won't be perfect, but it will be so much better than what it was. X that. Get right up in there. X that. And now I wonder if I tried to use the magic wand again, what it would do. Let's use it after we do this. I mean, am I a genius or what? Oh, okay. More events below. Let's have a peek by zooming in. Let's go zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Okay, let's see what happens now. It's so like no, how do I undo? Okay. Whoops. Crazy. Alright, I'm going to, oh, not X. I'm going to save that, although I might regret it later. And now let's delete this and let's add this photo back. You are not going to cooperate with me, so I'm going to remove this. Oh, I forgot I'm looking at an email. How do I get out of here? Do I just hit the back button? Oh wait, I just do this. Pause and edit. I'm going to change it to something else because clearly trying to show this desk is not the way to go. So I am going to put something else in this email. That is the only solution here because I'm not going to drive myself nuts over one image. So we got desk stuff. I'm going to put something from my Amazon wish list. Come on, I know. Let's see, should I put the desk lamp or the headset? Let's put the... lamp. I think the lamp is better. Let's right click on this, save image to downloads. And now let's go back here. Let's go here. Let's replace, I guess. With this image I just downloaded. I hate when it uses some gobbledygook thing. Hold on, I gotta change the name of it. LED desk lamp. Now this desk lamp I really want because, again, the way I'm like tracing, oh, that reminds me, I need to bring downstairs my quotes, because I want to do that on my in my notebook downstairs, which I actually have upstairs. But anyway, I'm going to trace my first quote today into my bullet journal. Okay, here we go. So let's change width and the height, So let's change the height to 660. And that way it'll leave me alone. Okay, so let's now change the link, because this is not the right link. Right here. Oops, wrong window. There we go. Insert. Okay. Save and close. Continue. Yeah, December 30th. So I have like today and tomorrow to update this thing. Okay, so now let's view the email one more time just to make sure that it made the change I wanted it to make. Sometimes I'll just have it email me, but in this case I'm just gonna have it. Why does it have that line there? Is that in the image itself? I don't see it. I ignored it because I assumed it was a glitch, but I'm just gonna let it be. I also got several books, Silent Will, I don't know if you're still there, but before I end this stream in 2 minutes, let me just show you the books that I got. I got like so many books. So let's start with the fiction ones. Ooh. Hold on. So I got part 2 of Ready Player One. This is the sequel. So I read Ready Player One already. So now I'm excited. I'm going to get to read Ready Player Two. Let me start a little stack over here. Yeah, my wife like went crazy. So this one is going to be so good. It's 1,000 books to read before you die, a life-changing list. This is amazing. Look at how fat this book is. This book is like so good. So she got me this one, but there's also this one, which is Ex Libris, and it's 100 books to read and reread. So I'm like wicked excited about this one too. It's almost as heavy as this book when it's like small, but there's the pages that they have here are like really like thick, amazing pages. So it's almost just as heavy. And then I have this, which I love Chris Colfer, and he has an entire series. So this is the second series, and this is the sequel to his second series. So I have this book. This one I got for myself, and I finally brought it upstairs. It's heavy as sin. I bought this for myself. The Dolly Parton in Lyrics, Songteller. Amazing book. I started reading it and instantly was inspired by the stories that she was telling. And then lastly, like I told you, am going to be submitting short stories to publications, right? So I asked for 2 books that would help me in my research and to understand like what kind of stories make it into like being published and being recognized, right? So she bought me both of these books. So this is for research. It's also for entertainment. But there's this series called the Best American Series. And what they do is they go to different publications, like the ones that I want to submit to, and they pick the best of the calendar year, and then they publish them in book form. So they have like, I think 8 maybe of different genres and different things, but I only wanted 2 of them, and she got me both. So I have the Best American Short Stories for 2020. So there's this one. So each book has 20 published stories, and then 60 of them get honorable mentions in the back of the book. So, and they get edited by, a guest editor. And for this one, Curtis Sittenfeld is the guest editor for Best American Short Stories. And what's so great about it is it tells you where the short story was originally published and what publication. So it's, again, research. I'm able to see like, they got from a story from the Paris Review, a story from Crazy Horse, from the New Yorker, from the 3 Penny Review, and then I could go online, find, these different publications and see what their guidelines are when their submissions are open, etc., etc. So I have this one for short stories. I haven't read any from that one yet, but I've read 2 from the other book, which is the one I'm most excited about, which is the Best American Science Fiction and Fantasy, which is guest edited by Diana Gabaldon. So she's the author of all the Outlander books. So I've read 2 from here already. And this one is going to be the most helpful for me because this is probably where I'm going to get my list of the 6 publication places that I'm going to submit a short story to this year. But I read the first story, which was Life Sentence by Matthew Baker, and that was from a digital magazine called Lightspeed. And then I also read Thoughts and Prayers by Ken Liu from I think this is his collection of short stories called Future Tense. I don't think that's a publication. I think it's just his personal collection of short stories. But again, it's got, New Suns, Nightmare, which Uncanny Magazine, Tor.com, the magazine of fantasy and science fiction, which, as you know, I subscribe to, so I have their latest issue. So from here, not probably from this issue, probably from an earlier one, they, the editor read a story from this publication, felt it was amazing, put it in a list of 80. Then those 80 stories were read by Diana Gabaldon, who then selected her 20 favorites. So there are 10 science fiction and 10 fantasy short stories in here. So research, entertainment. I have these two, which I am reading through rigorously just to see what the style of writing is, so that I can get an idea when I am writing my Friday fictions, which ones would be the most likely to possibly be considered. I mean, I'm going into this expecting to get rejections, not expecting to actually be published in any of these publications, but you never know. And then my bullet journal, which I now have to take downstairs with me, along with my printout of the other things. But anyway, I'm going to go downstairs now because I have to assist my wife in taking care of the dogs, etc., etc. Thank you to those of you who were here. I'm going to actually put this back in my water while I'm on stream so I don't forget to do it, and take the bottle downstairs and I'm not sinking. With my new tech water. Okay, so let me put together everything I'm going to be taking downstairs with me. So I'm going to be taking this down. I'm not going to take my mouse down. I'm definitely, like I said, I'm probably not going to be streaming again this week, but I will definitely be streaming again January 4th, which is when I'll be officially starting a brand new Friday fiction story, January 4th. Like I said, brand new, and I'm going to take 2 weeks to write it, and I'm releasing my first Friday fiction story to my patrons on January, where is my calendar? January 15th is my first Friday fiction story will be released, and then that will be released to the public February 12th. And that will also be, I forget what my schedule is for podcast releasing, but my first recording for my podcast is the 6th. So I think I'm releasing 2 podcast episodes without commercials to my patrons on the 15th. And then everyone else will be getting it around the end of February. I think we'll be getting one of those 2. And then depending on... and then what's going to happen because of the rules and the guidelines, and I'm actually going to be writing a blog post about this, I can no longer show you what I'm writing as I'm writing it during my streams. So my streams are going to look a bit more like Brenna. I don't know if you've ever watched Brenna Nailed It on Twitch, where most of the time she's not actually showing what she's writing, and most streamers aren't. And the reason isn't because I'm afraid of someone stealing my idea, but it's because I if I end up submitting that story that I'm writing to publications, I can't have any form of it, even a streaming form of it, online, because then it will not be eligible. So because I can't determine ahead of time what story I'm going to be submitting, because of that, I can't show it, unfortunately. And I'm kind of annoyed about that. I mean, maybe if there's one that I feel like, there isn't a snowball chance in hell that I'm going to be submitting this to any publication, then I can show myself writing it. But if it's a story where it even has a 2% chance that once I finish writing it, I'm going to love it so much and going to want to submit it. I can't show myself writing it on stream. So, I can chat with you guys. I'm going to be rearranging my layout, my overlays again because of that, for that very reason, because I can't show it on stream. That means what I originally was going to have, which was something like this, where in the middle would be my word thing of me like showing you what I'm writing. I'm going to have to do something completely different to have like rotating images of something or other. I don't know. But yeah, sorry, Silent Willow. And like I said, that's the reason. It's not because I'm worried that someone's going to steal my story. It's because if I'm going to be submitting something to any publication, something that they all have the same rule about is what form it is visible on online. I can't even give it to my patrons or make it public. So luckily, I will know that if I'm going to submit it after I've written it. So that will give me time to be like, okay, I can't give this to my patrons and I can't put it publicly until it's been rejected. So that's why I'm tracking what I'm submitting. And the second I get that rejection letter, that story will be given to my patrons and simultaneously be given to the public to read it. And I will list it at the very top and say this was submitted to this publication, and I will scan and have like a digital image that you can click on to see my rejection letter. So that way I can prove and say it's been rejected. Here it is. I'm likely not going to then have it rejected and then submit it to another publication to then go through like the 6 to 8 months of waiting for the rejection letter, because then like I will be in 2022 and I really want to have all of these things in the same calendar year if I can help it. So anyway, just thought I'd put that out there. I will make a disclaimer about that on somewhere on my overlay, and etc. etc. Hold on one second. I just got a text. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know, well, I'm sorry, you might not want to watch my streams then, because I'm going to be talking. I can talk about what I'm writing, but like I said, I can't literally show you myself typing the words. And I'm not going to be reading out loud what I'm writing either, but I can tell you about it. I can even show you my outline. I do my outlining, right? So you'll be able to see my outlining process. But once I actually literally start writing the story, I can't show that. So you might want to show up at least for like the first 2 to 3 days if you want, because I'll probably be outlining it at least the first day, possibly the first 2 days that I'm streaming will be me outlining whatever the story is that I choose to write. But sorry to say, I mean, those are the rules, right? I want to play by the rules of these publications that I'm going to be submitting to, and if I want to play by their rules, then I need to follow what those guidelines and rules are. Otherwise, I'm in danger of being blacklisted across all these things if I'm not following those rules. Yeah, you're gonna get to see me on camera. It's just the moment of writing the actual story that I can't show that. I'm gonna have to do some other thing because I want to be streaming. So the other option is I just don't stream, right? And I want to be streaming because I feel like when I'm streaming, I'm more apt to be writing. So we'll see how it goes. If it's something that people are just like, not cool about because they don't understand that this is what I have to do. And so they're going to be like, I'm not going to watch you stream because you're not actually showing what you're writing. Then, I'll take that with a grain of salt. And I might say, you know what, then I'll stop streaming. And I'll only write, Did mommy kick you guys in here? My dog's just came in. Okay, so that's gonna be it for me for now. I'm gonna go edit my stuff, and I'm gonna put some Lego together after I do my editing. And I got a bunch to do today, so I'm gonna trace in my bullet journal. It's gonna be a fun day. I do make a recording of it, Silent Willow. My streams are simultaneous on YouTube. So while Twitch is not I'm not having Twitch record my streams because it only keeps it for 2 weeks. YouTube does, and I have a playlist so you can watch back if you want to what I'm doing. So that is publishing it publicly because anyone can go back to my on demand on YouTube. I can make the decision to not do that, but then that would mean several extra steps for myself to, like, when I'm writing, not have it visible or recorded anywhere, and make sure I take those down and then keep up the ones that I can have up. It's just it would just be too much, and I like the idea of having a playlist of all of my Friday fiction streams. But yeah, I am technically making a recording of it. I also record when I'm doing my podcast, so you can, and those are for my patrons only. It's a private playlist on my YouTube channel, so they can either like watch my process, or they can just listen to the audio of it if they want. But yeah, unfortunately, I do make a recording of it, so there's that. Taking my phone with me, taking my my earpods with me, taking my bottle of water with me, taking a lot of stuff with me downstairs. Okay, so happy holidays, happy new year, and I will see you all in 2020.